Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaRakah double honor to the apostles and elders, great most honorable well. Shalom to the brothers doing the work of certain truth. Yeah, I was meditating on just about the Israelite foreigners, because now we're in the time, well, we've done been in the time where it's like, it's been evident and clear that you have like, scores of Jake where they're not, they're not gonna look like they're just from the main tribes that you have on the sign. But, with these Christians, they're like, these things are kind of like, weaselly little angles for them to try and sneak, any and everyone into the word, man, into the promises. But, it's something that's plain to see. Because the main issue with like the modern world is how not bloodlines, what they're called, how like family lines are recorded and understood like now, and they're really not of a significance in this current time and age. People aren't really thinking about like, oh, who's your father's father's father, or whatever, or what kind of family you come from, what line you come from. People are looking at things and they're just thinking of it as far as like in a carnal sense, where it would just be they think, you spring out of the earth somewhere, you're born on a certain plot of land, and then that's meant to just make you whatever that plot of land is. Now that's the nation you are. You're born in London, then you're English. Born in America, you're American. But those things are new, and then people disconnecting from that understanding of their line, of their heritage, then makes it easier to kind of have everyone turn to that one, but basically becoming denizens, citizens of Babylon, basically, especially in America. America's big for that. It's a big melting pot, and then everyone's expected to be American, and that's not new. It was done in Rome, it was done in Greece. That's a desire, and it goes back to ancient paganism, the Tower of Babel. But then a huge aspect of Israel is always them being separate, and separate in our customs, separate in our worship, and separate that we live away from the heathen. We're not just meant to be in here in a big melting pot, but now we're in hell. We're basically living out punishment. So you've got Israel mixed among the heathen, but then lions get among them, and then that's where the Israelites, foreigners, spring up. You have this Amos 3:1. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities." And yeah, that's out of all the families of the earth, and it was laid out explicitly. And it's something that, this is just one example I'm going to. You can find countless examples, but the only family that the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is dealing with was Israel from the start, and remain Israel. You can go to like Joel 2:27 as well, where it says, "And none else," to explicitly make it so it's not "and none else" until Acts chapter 10, and then and then you can get any crusty, ashy socked you up in there as an Israelite now. Because there's this as well, Psalms 147:19. It says, "He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord." So yeah, as far as for dealing with that law, that's something that's explicitly been shown to Israel, and that's core to the relationship between Israel and the Most High. You go into Romans 9, it will go into all the officers basically explicitly for Israel. And then, why is it being told to the Romans? Because those Israelites in and among the Romans, just like there's Israelites, now amongst these different nations. You go to Italy, you go to Sardinia. They've got the flag where they have, it's quartered with the fucking hell. It's quartered with the Moorheads, and then you'll have a bulk of Jake amongst, those nations where there were Israelite strongholds throughout the Dark Ages, like Sicily, Sardinia, south of Italy, uh, Spain as well, south of Spain, um, Ireland as well. These places where it's known there's that heritage, and that line that goes back. Even Esau acknowledges it. That's why it's like, you think, who the fuck is going around? Think about it. Like, now we're in a time when Esau's gone, and this guy's image is up everywhere. Who was going around? What Edomite was going around and just being like some white boy, just being like, you know what? I just have this sudden urge to just paint a bunch of black kings. all over. Man just wanted to paint a bunch of black kings all over Europe. But nah, Jake was ruling during them times. Jake was established. That's why they set up. They had all the icons set up. But then what? It's only Jake has that connection. And that's why you had the Holy Roman Empire. That's why you had Christianity prominent throughout those times, and Jake following the laws to a certain extent, even though they mixed in wickedness among it. But then what? It's because what you have after the Renaissance, when Esau came in, what happened? You basically had carnality take over, where spirituality just went to the wayside. Other than the left hand side, they were super indulgent that left hand side, but a whole different spirit came over, and that's why you have lines out there for days where it's and that bakes into why it's like you have to try the spirit, because what does it say? Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for all are one in Hamashiach Yahushai. And why it's explicitly Jew or Greek? Because you have the history of Israelites learning the ways of the Greeks, becoming as the Greeks, sewing their foreskins back on, going to the place of exercise, worshipping the gods of the Greeks, keeping the customs of the Greeks, wearing the togas. And that's something that's not new. That's been done with various different heathen, through the process of time. Which then what? How does it come together? Or it comes together in that you're gonna have, just because you've learned the custom of the heathen, the line still goes through the men. The son, father to son, father to son. So you're still gonna have that seed of Israel, even if it looks like a white boy, even if they're speaking Greek, they're speaking Latin. They ain't got no Hebrew, they ain't got no beards, they ain't got the border of blue or the fringes. Just because, and even more so now is really the time where it becomes evident as to why these things went down. Because now, in the time of the end, is beyond that's become as standard for Israelites out here. It's out here and in the States. Really talking about the States. In the States primarily, it's Jake were out there. They got beaten to the point. They got destroyed foundationally to the point where they aren't even Israelites. Like, they can't even be counted as Israelites. They're basically given a whole different culture, a whole different lifestyle, whole different mindset, and they're completely disconnected from who they were, which was done intentionally. But then that's something that reflects on what was happening already throughout history, and now it's just happened on a mass scale where you got the bulk of Israel not even knowing they're Israel, and then even more so now, it then just comes down to faith in the spirit. You go 2,000 years back, there would have been records. People would have had their records. People would have known, okay, I go back to this line. My ancestors go back there. I can count every ancestor back to Jacob. But for a great amount of well, all Jake now, there ain't no records, man. You ain't gonna have that what the fuck. Fucking hell. You ain't gonna have the records. So then it all comes down to faith. You basically gotta lean on Yahweh Shai. So John 7:33, it says, Then said Yahweh Shai unto them, Yet a little while am I with you, and then I go unto them that sent me. Ye shall seek me, and shall not find me, and where I am, thither ye cannot come. And yeah, so Yahweh Shai is saying, after sojourning for a bit, then he ain't gonna be found among them. And then what? So they're thinking, okay, he's not gonna be found in Judea. Where's he gonna be? So verse 35, Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles, and teach the Gentiles? And yeah, so that lets you know plainly, you've basically had Israelites amongst the heathen, where they were counted, they were called to as Gentiles. And that's what, if basically them Israelites that are counted as a heathen, for falling away from the understanding who they are from the law, statutes, and commandments, then what, they're counted as a heathen. And really, this is the core of it. Romans 8:16, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, and that's really the core of it. Like you've basically had, and Hebrews goes into it cleanly, that how Abraham, essentially, it was by faith that he received the promises, and then now as well, it's basically coming down to faith rather than keeping of the law, rather than how it's been the first covenant, the stipulations of that. Through those means, we've already fallen short, and then it's triple, quadruple, 100 million times over. If we're being held to the law in America, in the Western world, in this modern time in general, like you're washed. It's over. From when you've come into adulthood after the age of 12, just one Shabbat you not kept, you're done. You're toast. Like, and then that's just one. There's countless crimes mounted up on top, countless transgressions of the law you can mount on top of that. So as far as like now, you're having a laugh, even dreaming. This is why it's like IUIC talking about the law, thinking that there's some means for you to, without Yahweh Shai, you toast. You must need to have Yahweh Shai's covering to have any hope of getting into the kingdom, because otherwise it's a wrap. And then now it's basically all that that we had when we were in the land to lean upon is basically all been peeled away. So then now it's what? Faith in Yahweh Shai, and then serving. You basically got to fulfill your service and hope that you can receive mercy. And that's really what we're doing now. We're doing everything in our means to fulfill that. And then understanding as well that it's like you can't look at it carnally, you got to deal with it spiritually. You're gonna have Israelites that don't look like, you know, a dark skinned Jakes with woolly hair. You can have Israelites that look like every nation under the sun. And then with that, it then becomes like, oh, you really do have to look at things spiritually. You really got to broaden your view from how it is. If you know when it's like in the world with Jake, they kind of have them stuck on that black culture with the black what's it called, or like the most modern one is BLM or civil rights or whatever the fuck. That it's basically tied into your skin, your skin tone. But then that through those means you've already failed. It's something where it needs to be through the spirit. Because why? You got to try the spirit. Because you're gonna have some white boys out there where you go further up in the line, it goes all the way to Jacob, just like you would have had 2,000 years ago. It had Israelites among the Greeks. They might have looked like Greeks. They might have looked like dark-skinned Jakes. Depending. Just like now, you have Jake over here in the UK, Jake in the US, getting that that pink foot. Then what? The Utes come out looking light as hell. Then they get another pink foot. They even lighter. But those things happen. During the Dark Ages. Happen now, man. You got the paintings of the what do you call it, the Moors, where they had the white, the white women in the bed and whatnot. Like the Jake loved them some pink foot, man. That we are the children of the Most High, and if children, then heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach. If so, that we suffer with him. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So yeah, now it's basically we're fulfilling our duty that's been given, by Yahushua. It's like, instructions been given on how we're meant to function. You got to go out, you got to do your videos, you got to be in the spirit, fast, prayer, all these things, basically to receive that reward at the end. Because we can't just be like, okay, we're just going to keep the law. Even if you try to, you're going to fall short. Because as it says, I believe it's this chapter or maybe the 10th chapter. No, yeah, it's this chapter as well. It's a bit further down. The creature was made subject to vanity. Yeah, verse 20. So, that's how you got to get down. That part, the path is the straight gate, man. That's what you got pass through. You can't. There's no broad means. And then even with the law is even straighter than Yahushua, because it's to the point where we're wired to fall short. But then at least with Yahushua we have grace in that case. I'll finish on this. So Isaiah 11:11, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from Shinar, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And yeah, so you can have remnant, residue of Israel in and among all these different heathen nations. And then what? And then there's going to be those saved out of all those nations, man. So they might look like a straight up heathen, but then that spirit that's in them is what? That righteous spirit, man. That Israelite spirit. And that's really what it comes down to. That's the thing is, it's like, you're getting caught up on that dark skinned Jake, that shaft mystique, that blade mystique. Then you're basically looking at things, uh, it's too carnal because you've already got the Northern Kingdom in the first place, where they're varied, even among Jake, even among these so-called dark tribes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. You get variations in them anyway. You'll get Jake where it'll be too dark skinned Jake and they'll just have a light baby. It just happens. So given that, it's shouldn't be a marvel. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah, and from the four corners of the earth. So yeah, you're gonna have those outcasts, those foreigners, those that are basically just out and about in various places in the world. And then what? They're gonna be drawn back in. It's gonna be beautiful, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom. Yabashim Shah, Shalom.